These bricks got me thinking, maybe it's time to start a frustrating category. I bought them all. I built them all. Now, here's my review of the Super Mario Classic building block series. Let's start with the manuals. They're double-sided and roughly A4 in size. So far, the labeling is done correctly, each step clearly shows the number and color of pieces you'll need. The piece images aren't angled weirdly either, so it's easy to see exactly what's used, no second guessing needed. Some parts do require you to rotate the build model 180 degrees, which can be a bit confusing at first, but it's manageable. And if you're wondering whether Mario and Luigi share the same build process, yes, they're identical. The only difference is the color, red for Mario and green for Luigi. Now, because they're trying to be eco-friendly, they squeeze about 30 to 40 steps onto each page, so the instructions are quite small. Personally, I don't have a problem with that, but some people might find the text and images a little too tiny. If you've built from bricks Make a Wise Life before, the layout of the build steps is about the same size. But I think it would have been better if they printed it on slightly larger paper, like Duopin's manuals, though I get that some people might not like odd-sized pages. Or they could have gone with something like Mechanism's manual, which is A3 size. The steps are much bigger and clearer that way. Overall, I'd give the manual an 8 out of 10 stars. Now, let's talk about the pieces and completeness. One thing I find unique about this set is that the pieces have a completely different design. If you take a look at the back of the bricks, you'll notice something interesting. Some have the standard Lego-style circular studs, while others only have 2 straight lines instead. And it's not consistent based on brick type either. For example, some 2x4 bricks have one design, while others have a completely different one. Because of that, it can actually be pretty hard to clip certain pieces together. The set actually comes with 2 bags of pieces. You'll need to open both right from the start to get all the parts for the first step. Some people might not like that, but I don't really mind. It kind of feels like solving a puzzle. There were no missing pieces, and I even ended up with quite a lot of extras. Plus, each set includes a brick separator, which is always a nice bonus. For pieces and completeness, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 stars. The brick separator is similar to the one from Bricks Make a Wise Life. It's double-sided. One side lifts bricks from underneath, while the other side presses bricks down to remove them from studs. Basically, it works just like a Lego separator, making tricky builds much easier to take apart. It removes the bricks really well. As you can see, when you lift the bricks, they tend to stick to the separator, so you usually need to use your fingers to pop them off. I really like this brick separator design, especially if you have 2 of them. For example, take these 2 bricks, I'm pressing them together tightly so they're hard to separate. If you use 2 brick separators, one can go underneath the brick while the other goes on top of the studs. One side lifts bricks from underneath, and the other side presses bricks down to remove them from studs. Basically, when I press both separators toward each other, the bricks come apart really easily. So for the brick separator, I'd give it a solid 10 out of 10 stars. Next, the build experience. If you want honesty, I'm giving it. Building these nanoblocks was a pain. It honestly made me want to start a frustration build list. If I were Santa, these sets would definitely be on the naughty list. Now, for the 3 Marios, Red Mario, B Mario, and Luigi, or as some people call him, Green Mario. The body part builds are fine. The real frustration starts once you get to the head. Because the base starts small and then gets wider, and the bricks don't stack easily, as you keep building upward, the whole thing becomes unstable. You can't press the pieces on too softly, because they won't click properly. But if you press too hard, the whole build starts to tilt or even collapse. Even with my nanoblock mat, it was still a struggle to keep everything steady. Now for Yoshi, both the head and body were frustrating. There were moments I wanted to flip the table, but I didn't. Because that would just mean more cleanup work. I actually had to take a few breaks and sip some water. The same problem applies here. unstable structure, and way too much weight resting on just a few tiny bricks at the bottom, especially in the body section. Overall, for the build experience, I'd give it a 5 out of 10 stars. Now for the wobble test. Alright, let's give them a little nudge and see how they hold up. Honestly, they're pretty solid. Mario, on the other hand, has slightly flimsy wings and antennas, so handle those gently. For Luigi and Red Mario, the only parts that ever come loose are the 3 little hair pieces. If you drop them from a height, maybe the thumb might pop off, but that's about it. And for Yoshi, his weak spot is definitely the legs, they can come off a bit too easily. Overall, I'd rate the stability a 7 out of 10 stars. Not perfect, but solid enough for display. Now, for how cute or accurate the characters look. So, about the looks, I'll be honest, the Luigi in this series is basically just Mario in green. They're exactly the same design, just different colors. So accuracy-wise, not the best. But as for how cute they look overall, I'll let you decide. Would I recommend the classic building blocks Mario series? Yes, even though the build was pretty frustrating for me, I honestly can't complain too much. It's cheap, has a lot of pieces, and for that price, you actually get a really detailed build, especially if you're a Mario fan. I personally love the details on Mario and Yoshi, they really stand out. So overall, it's great value for money. If you're planning to buy and build one yourself, I hope you'll have a much more enjoyable experience than I did. Thanks for watching. Let me know which Super Mario character is your favorite in the comments.